What I am about to tell you has shaken the entire NASCAR world. Dale Earnhardt Jr. has finally spoken out after the heartbreaking loss of Kyle Busch, and what he revealed is not just emotional, it's shocking, personal, and deeply painful. He admitted something that fans never expected to hear, that behind the rivalry, behind the tension, and behind the aggressive racing battles, there was real respect, and even a future partnership that never got the chance to happen. And now the question everyone is asking is simple. What did Dale Jr. really say about Kyle Busch after his death? Stay with me until the end of this video, because the full picture of their relationship and the emotional truth behind NASCAR's biggest loss will completely change how you see both legends. The NASCAR community is still in shock after the sudden passing of Kyle Busch at just 41 years old. A driver known for his fearless style, aggressive moves, and championship mentality, suddenly gone. Fans across the world, drivers and teams have been sharing tributes non-stop. But one voice stood out the most, Dale Earnhardt Jr., because his relationship with Kyle Busch was never simple. It was complicated, intense, and sometimes even controversial. But now, after Kyle's passing, Dale Jr. has opened up in a way nobody expected. Dale Earnhardt Jr. admitted something very real. During their racing careers, he and Kyle Busch often clashed on the track. Kyle was known for being aggressive, sometimes too aggressive, and that created tension with many drivers, including Dale Jr. There were moments of frustration, disagreements, and heated competition. But Dale Jr. made one thing very clear. Even when they didn't get along perfectly, he always respected Kyle Busch as one of the most talented drivers NASCAR has ever seen. He said Kyle had something special, raw speed, fearless decision-making, and a winning mindset that only a few drivers in history ever had. And that respect never disappeared, even during their toughest racing battles. What makes this story even more emotional is how their relationship evolved. Over the years, the tension slowly cooled down. They weren't enemies anymore. In fact, things became more professional, more respectful, even friendly at times. Dale Jr. revealed something very important. There were discussions in the background where Kyle Busch was actually expected to race for Dale Jr.'s team in the future. Yes, you heard that right. A future collaboration between two NASCAR giants was being considered. But now, that possibility is gone forever. And that is what makes this loss even heavier for Dale Jr. Because it wasn't just a rival he lost, it was a future teammate and a respected competitor. After Dale Earnhardt Jr.'s emotional comments, another major voice from NASCAR also stepped forward. And this one hit fans just as hard. Joey Logano finally broke his silence on Kyle Busch's death. And the tone in his message was completely different from rivalry days on the track. Logano admitted that when you race against someone like Kyle Busch for so many years, you build a complicated relationship. There are fights, disagreements, and moments where emotions run very high. But when something like this happens, all of that disappears instantly. He said that Kyle Busch was not just a competitor, he was a constant presence in NASCAR. Someone you expected to see every weekend. Someone who always pushed the limit, and someone who made racing harder but also more meaningful. Logano described the news as heartbreaking and said it still feels unreal that Kyle is gone. He also reflected on how NASCAR will feel different moving forward, because drivers like Kyle don't come around often. According to Logano, even when they had on-track battles, there was always a level of respect underneath it all. Because at the end of the day, every driver knew Kyle Busch was racing with one goal, to win at any cost. And that mindset is what made him one of the toughest competitors in the sport. Logano's reaction adds another layer to this tragedy. It shows that across the garage, No matter the rivalries, everyone is feeling the same emptiness. Because Kyle Busch wasn't just another driver on the grid. He was a key part of NASCAR's identity for over 2 decades. And now, with both Dale Jr. and Joey Logano speaking out emotionally, it's clear that this loss has affected the entire racing world in a way fans are still trying to process. And when you combine Dale Jr.'s emotional reflection with Joey Logano's heartfelt words, one thing becomes clear. Kyle Busch's impact on NASCAR was far bigger than just statistics. It was personal for everyone who raced against him. After the news broke, the entire NASCAR world reacted instantly. Drivers like Denny Hamlin and Kyle Larson paid tribute, calling Kyle Busch one of the greatest pure racers of his generation. They described him as someone who pushed everyone to be better, someone who never backed down, and someone who made NASCAR more exciting every time he hit the track. Fans also flooded social media with emotional messages, highlighting his long career, his championship wins, and his unforgettable battles on the track. But among all these voices, Dale Earnhardt Jr.'s words stood out the most, because they came from someone who understood both sides of Kyle Busch, the competitor and the human being. Dale Jr. described NASCAR as not the same anymore without Kyle Busch. He reflected on how Kyle brought intensity to every race, how he never raced halfway, and how he changed the way people think about competition. He also admitted that even though they had differences, those differences made NASCAR more interesting. And now, without Kyle Busch, something feels missing from the sport. A piece of its identity is gone. A piece of its fire is gone. What fans often didn't see was the respect behind the rivalry. On the surface, it looked like tension, but underneath there was admiration. Dale Jr. made it clear that Kyle Busch wasn't just a competitor, he was a benchmark, a driver everyone had to measure themselves against. And that kind of presence is rare in motorsports. You don't replace that easily. According to reports, Kyle Busch had recently been hospitalized after falling seriously ill. His condition worsened quickly, and despite medical attention, he passed away unexpectedly. His family confirmed the devastating news and requested privacy during this painful time. They described him as a loving father, a dedicated husband, and a passionate racer who gave everything to the sport he loved. The NASCAR community continues to send support to the Busch family as they go through this unimaginable loss. Kyle Busch's legacy is not just about wins or championships, it's about intensity, it's about emotion, and it's about a driver who never backed down from anyone on the track. And now, hearing Dale Earnhardt Jr. speak so honestly about him reminds us that even the biggest rivalries can carry deep respect underneath. NASCAR has lost not just a champion, but a personality that made the sport what it is today. If you are a true NASCAR fan and want more emotional stories, tributes, and breaking updates like this, make sure you subscribe to NASCAR Nation News. Hit the like button, share this video, and comment below. Rest in peace, Kyle Busch. Because legends like him are never forgotten.